Alright, look, it's your boy, Young Von. Alright, today we about to react to another one. What we're about to react to today is, wait, she squatted in the Airbnb in Washington, D.C. for months legally? Let's get right into it.
In the case between the D.C. homeowner and the woman who was squatting in her home.
And Romero hasn't paid another dime. But
Romero?
living in the home for over a month apparently lets her claim some form of tenant rights.
Because I know I hadn't received a payment.
While all this is going on, Romero's social media shows her living her best life on trips.
So the narrative
What?
that I had been staying at a place March and not making any payments, it was untrue.
Imagine booking an Airbnb and your guest just decides, I'm about to live here now. No lease agreement, you're not getting paid, and you can't even evict them. So now you as the owner are feeling powerless, all because somebody figured a way to legally squat in your Airbnb property. Yes, this happened in real life and it's going so
IRL.
viral online and people are torn.
I've had people reaching out to organizations that I've done free events for. Mind you, about 98 to 99% of the work that I have done has been from me, even when I've needed help.
Why
I've
is she
helped
crying?
Because I've always thought it's somebody out here worse than me.
Let's reel this back in for a second. This is the woman who is known as now the DC squatter. What's interesting to me is she's talking about someone being in a worse position than her, which is definitely true. People can be in a worse position than you.
100%.
However, it's ironic that
she's squatting in somebody's house?
she put a landlord or an Airbnb owner in a bad position. Okay.
Today in court, it was proven, or it was admitted, that the false narrative that I have been staying at a place since February and that someone has been trying to get me out since March, it was untrue. It was not true. The narrative that I had been staying at a place since February and had not made a payment since March, that was also untrue. It was admitted on record that payments had been received up until the end of September. Now there is a payment in question. Somehow that payment wasn't received. I don't know.
Y'all, it is December and this case is from December. She said
last year?
a payment was last received, according to her. I believe she said September. So even hypothetically off of what she is saying, what happened from September to December? September, October, November. So that would be 3 months. Hypothetically.
There's only one payment in question. So the narrative that I have been staying at a place March and not making any payments, it was untrue.
March, allegedly. That's even worse. March, April, May, June, July.
Since March?
So that would mean she was somewhere for 10 months, according to the allegations that she's trying to beat. So 10 months of somebody more than likely paying a mortgage on some sort of Airbnb property that is likely only used for income, not as some form of charity. Pretty sure the Airbnb
What in the
owner
world?
doesn't have that Airbnb for the sole purpose of just giving it to somebody who wants to just live there for free.
Documentation was provided that showed that I did not initiate the switching from Airbnb to direct payments to the owner in some scheme to circumvent a process that wasn't the case. Those direct links were sent willingly. Not only willingly, but they were initiated by the other party. Although it was decided that I don't have tenant rights, those things were untrue. And to get on the news to say things
Why would you have tenant rights to an Airbnb? It's not your house.
that are untrue shows a lot about a person's character and shows that they had malicious intent because they knew it would go off like this. And the thing about the truth is that the truth doesn't always, it's not heard as loud as the lie is. So the damage that this has caused, irreparable. I'm gonna take some time away because, as I said, this has been the hardest. Everything that I do with my business, I do it with love.
Right.
Everything I do with my nonprofit, I do with love. And I can't do either right now with the amount of pain that is in my heart to those who waited
Why is she
to
crying?
make their judgment, to get the facts that just wasn't true. Thank you to the people who made their decision and left comments, the people who know me or who have known me. and y'all wouldn't say it to my face.
Wait a minute. Okay. Nah, I was trying to hear her out. I wasn't expecting the hostility. And yeah, I'm going to find the news report that she's talking about because I need to know more. So she's saying she didn't do it. The top comment with 16,000 likes says she's done this to 3 other properties. 3? Wait, someone said, yep, 1 went up in flames. She probably did, allegedly. I don't know.
Wow.
I'm just getting here. I'm just reading.
Allegedly, she set the house on fire. Allegedly.
In the comments. I can't confirm nor deny. Someone said, seriously, she does this for a living. Another said, she's crying because she honestly thought
she was gonna get away with this. Yeah, I was wondering, what are you crying for?
She had gotten away with this. Many people saying and agreeing with, you are not the victim. Is she gaslighting you? Have you moved? With the Nene Leakes face. How did she become the victim? Nah, in order. Okay, what I'm really trying to say here is people feel, as a whole, it seems, that this woman is not the victim in this situation.
So she's lying.
And here's one of the news releases that came out as far as the owner of the Airbnb who is making
Airbnb guest squats in home for 10 months rent free. Let's see
claims against the woman who allegedly squatted in her home.
All of the responsibilities are on me, and I can't get into my property. There's a leak in the property. The water bill is escalating. I can't get in there to see what's going on.
A DC homeowner claiming an Airbnb guest has overstayed their welcome and will not leave.
It don't look like am I tripping?
In this story you'll only see on 7 News. We're digging into DC law, finding out there's not much that homeowner can do. Our Washington, D.C. reporter Felicia Ashley spoke with the homeowner and tried to speak with the alleged squatter.
The alleged squatter originally got into the home through Airbnb, claiming that her apartment caught fire and it needed time to get repairs. Now that was back in February. Roshane Douglas says she didn't know she was opening her life up to a nightmare when she accepted Shadidra Romero's Airbnb reservation almost 10 months ago. That reservation ended March 29th after 32 days, and Romero hasn't paid another dime. But living in the home for over a month apparently lets her claim some form of tenant rights.
And I went to the Airbnb website because I said I need to do some research. This is the community center on Airbnb's website, and it actually says here, over 28 nights do guests become legal tenant. There's a comment that says there's laws that state when somebody occupies a dwelling for over a month, and this could be construed as 28 nights, they automatically become tenants. Now, this is very important, y'all. Very important for people who are doing business on Airbnb. And granted, you might want to do your own research and see, does this information vary from state to state? But this can be very dangerous. A lot of people have a kind heart, or they want to be very understanding to a lot of situations and be helpful and be like, oh, I'm trying to help somebody out. You had a house fire. I can assist. I can let you stay here 29 days, for example. No. Business is business, and this could be a big mistake. As we can see here in what has happened in this case, the only one who seems that they've suffered in this whole situation is the owner of that Airbnb.
Yeah, literally.
Because allegedly, you've had somebody stay in that property 10 months without paying you, so you yourself are living somewhere else while paying for a squatter to live in your one of your properties. No, absolutely not.
Yeah, and that's ridiculous. Ridiculous in itself that it's legal to do this.
Goes on to say here, which means they have all the rights and protections that tenants have as far as how long they could stay in the dwelling as a squatter, not paying rent until they are served with an eviction notice, which can take months.
And it
goes on to say that again, they can acquire rights as a tenant after 30 consecutive days. But this is the part that's really getting me. And this depends on the Airbnb regulations of that state. The landlord cannot do things like cut off the power or change the locks because it's against the law. And I want to show you all this because there was another link on that page bringing me to another article from cnet.com. And it says here, Airbnb guest stays more than 30 days gets tenants' rights. And I want to point out something very crucial here. A lot of people ain't new to this, they true to this. This article was published July 22nd, 2014. Y'all, it is 2025. So this is over 10 years ago. This is a scheme that many people know and are using to their advantage to take advantage of unsuspecting Airbnb hosts. Clear as day.
I don't even understand how this is legal. What in the world?
Only difference here is we're seeing this happen in California. It says one California woman is finding out the hard way her tenant won't leave and does have some rights.
Wow.
This is crazy.
I never gave her any tenancy. I never gave her a lease.
Roshane tried everything, gave her a 30-day notice to vacate, called police, went to court, and even offered Romero $2,500 to sign a paper admitting she's not a tenant and to get out.
She did
Romero
not.
signed the document, but didn't budge.
November the 15th came and she told me, this no longer works for me. Do what you have to do. I'm not leaving. I went to the police with my order and they said there's nothing that
Wow,
they can
man.
do, that I need to go to court, which I've done, and I do not have a court date until December the 11th.
Roshane put this sign up on her home so police and the neighbors would know Romero was not authorized to be there. A sign Romero covered with a sheet.
I need police assistance.
I was there when police helped Roshane cut it down, while Romero hid inside.
It's shocking to me that you would abuse a system like that.
While all this is going on, Romero's social media shows her living her best life on trips and promoting her nonprofit, and Roshane is left paying thousands in attorney fees.
This is crazy. Y'all have never seen this. So she was on vacation? So you ain't got no money from me, but you can go get jiggy wherever you getting jiggy at?
Yeah, it's pretty messed up.
I need my money and be quick with it. No
Be
wonder.
quick with
the
it.
interesting thing about this is she's saying she has a nonprofit. Man, what is the nonprofit about? It better not have to do nothing with women empowerment or nothing like that. Because how do you want people to support your cause when you're squatting, allegedly, in somebody's house, in their Airbnb?
Roshane is left paying thousands in attorney fees, the mortgage, and utilities for a home she can't even enter.
That's ridiculous.
I tried to get some answers from Romero, who was clearly inside the home, but she never came to the door. When a person walked out to her car, they didn't want to talk to us either. Roshane is waiting now for her court date next week, where she's hoping the judge's decision will allow U.S. Marshals to force her unwanted guest out.
Oh yeah, the
once
U.S.
and for
Marshals
all.
come. You
Now
done.
reporting from Northeast D.C., Felicia Ashley, 7 News.
Somebody here says, I'm making one call. One. And girl, who you calling? Another questions, how do squatters have rights? Another saying Airbnb should support the host. And another saying this should be a felony. That's how I'm feeling.
Definitely should
how
be
do
a
you just
felony.
get to go on somebody's property, stay there for longer than what was
not
agreed
pay?
upon, and because of you not knowing her staying even one extra day gives her rights, now you have to pay for her to stay? I don't think if your name is not on the deed of the house or the mortgage or anything like that, you shouldn't have any rights to somebody else's property.
No way.
What? Just because you were just there? Nah, I think there needs to be some reform, and I strongly dislike this for the landlord. Mind you, while all of this is going on, that lady was still paying the mortgage and all the utilities. Because in Airbnb, you pay the utilities for the guest. You're the host. So everything needs to be ready. Then she said she had repairs that she couldn't even make because the other woman was in her home, not allowing her to make the repairs. Why she should have to ask that woman for permission, I don't know. But whoever came up with squatting laws and protections for this, like, all it did was create a way for people who really wanted to take advantage of certain people, the alley-oop. That's all it did. There are people who study this and go from place to place, victim to victim. Now, earlier, they discussed that they were waiting for a court date around December 10th to see what the judge was going to rule as far as the Airbnb squatter versus the Airbnb host, and if she was going to be able to get her up out of there. And this is what happened. There was a ruling saying that she had to get up out of there.
I feel good. I'm thankful that this outcome was like this for me, because I had that order that she signed, but it makes me very upset because if I didn't have the order, it seems like she would have been able to stay there and do this for months and months and however much longer. And other people who don't have the benefit of having such agreement, I can't imagine what they're going to go through in a situation like this.
Y'all remember, she said she had an agreement with the Airbnb alleged squatter that she asked her to sign, stating that she didn't have tenancy, I believe. First off, whatever that order said, the fact that the other lady signed it or did anything, mind-boggling to me, and good for this lady here. But it's also wild that this could have went a whole nother way without that documentation.
Yeah,
she might have been able to stay there just because of that. We don't know. That's scary. This is something that needs to be shown to anybody renting, doing Airbnb, whatever the case may be. This is a cautionary tale of why you need to do stuff by the book.
100%.
What?
So I'm thankful for me, but I still think that something needs to be done.
It was like for you to sit in that courtroom. She had a moment to question you. There were documents presented. There was a question of whether a payment she entered was fraudulent because there was no proof of it from the bank. What were your thoughts just being in the courtroom with her? That's the first time you guys had seen each other face to face in an event.
It was infuriated because I know I hadn't received a payment from her. This whole thing is coming about because she was not making the $100 a night payment, and for her to come up with a fake document that I confirmed. The judge gave us time to confirm that the document was not real, that Zale had no payment history of this, and there was a fraudulent confirmation number on this document. So it's infuriating, and I think that something needs to be done because to present that in court after all of this as some kind of Hail Mary, I'm just glad the judge was able to see through it and I was able to prove that this was not true.
So she was submitting false documents in court? Aren't you like sworn
and she's still not
to
in
tell
jail?
the truth and nothing but the whole truth? Where the false documents come in at that were able to be proven as false or not being able to use this evidence? Doing that in court is wild if that's what she did.
The judge said you can evict her right now. What are your plans? What are you about to do?
Evict her. She has to go. I need her out of the property so that I can try to regain the property and get back to my life. I was writing a book, working on a memoir, trying to do women's help organizations and things, and this has totally disrupted my life. So I would like to get back to the things that I could do to help the community, and I think God placed this on me too so that I can help in this area too. So I just want to get back to life.
You mentioned the community. Since our reporting, we've seen a huge amount of support, those that can relate to you, even those who need support in the housing system and their sentiments. What was it like for you to see the reaction to your story here in DC?
I'm so thankful for the support and that we brought this to light. I still am going to work hard and put
there
a
has to be a way
change.org document
around
together
this
for more homeowners that are going through this and try to really impact change with this. Like I said, I'm thankful for my outcome. I'm thankful for the court seeing it my way, but I know there are so many others that are struggling with this, and I'm not going to give up yet.
Ooh-wee. And this woman, while all this is going on, is trying to write a book, trying to be active in her community. She has her own things going on. Meanwhile, she's paying the mortgage, the utilities, and everything for somebody to take advantage of her.
Yeah, that's
over
messed
some
up.
sob story about a fire, allegedly. You got to be very careful when it comes to people and a sob story, and just use your discernment. If you got to do stuff by the book, sometimes you got to do it by the book, because this is such a sad, yet possibly avoidable situation that she's found herself in. And I honestly think she probably didn't know. And that's why I wanted to do this video, because how many people would know that somebody...
Nah, definitely, we would have never known. So I'm glad we learned something today. But look, I'm about to hop into the next one. I'ma see you in the next one. Like and subscribe, and be rolling in the car. And I'm really getting fired.